How's everyone doing? We've been away for a bit. Certain people have been jet setting, so they're not here. No names, obviously. I'm not drawing anyone out.
As you can see, there's obviously another light skin being missing here. So.
Not drawing anyone
I don't know
out.
who you mean. Who could that be?
What do you mean? You
Somebody's not here.
I have no idea who's in.
I saw him posing, doing all sorts of poses and Superman poses. So if man's gonna pose like Lex Luthor, he must have super immunity.
I don't think super immunity
trust me.
exists.
He's got it. Trust me.
I just know that I'm going to quarantine myself when he comes back.
I've seen him riding horses like Vladimir Putin and all of these mad talk, so I'm pretty sure he's got super immunity. You start taking pictures like a world leader, you must have super immunity or something like that.
Has anyone seen Kim Jong-un? Is he alive
Yeah,
or
he's
dead?
back.
He's fine, man.
He's fine.
I heard rumours that he was actually, no longer with it.
No. He's fine. But I feel like it's a double. If you see dictator, you know what I'm talking about, bro.
Anyway,
hell.
changing the subject off of fake news.
Donald Trump in today's
Donald Trump in today's news.
Actually, what's going on right now in the news? What's going on right now? Like, there's been a couple of booky things actually. Like
riots.
Like what?
This is the riots. That's it, really.
Black Lives Matters.
Black Lives Matters.
there's Black Lives
all
Matter.
that
There's
was going on.
the
Dash man
whole.
off the pier like, whoa, his statue's getting dashed. Statue's getting dashed in the water. That's what's going on. Unless you want to talk about
You know what?
statues
That
getting
took
dashed.
me a second to realize what you were talking. I was like, wait, why is man saying that? I was like, oh, that's right. No, we have to put a clip in that, right? Rolling it out, bro. What's your opinions of that though? With the statue,
Yeah, with the
being-
Bristol.
the madness is
Bristol
again.
There has been a number of statues in this country and other countries that have been kind of torn down.
It's been a
But
long
the thing
time
is,
coming.
I think they were kind of glorifying the whole slave traders and other stuff, and there's been other political reasons behind it. For me, I do agree that if you're kind of advertising a negative event that someone done several hundred years ago, then in today's age, it's kind of more frowned upon than it was when it was built.
Yeah.
But in regards to some of the other statues, I don't think I have the full story to make a valid comment because I don't live in those areas. So if it's issues affecting that, I can only speak from the one that I know in regards to the Liverpool one with the slave trader.
Yeah,
That was in Bristol, Reed Boy.
Bristol, by the way.
Was there one in
Potato,
It
potato.
was in Bristol.
Potato, potato.
But there was also one in Liverpool that they vandalised, but I don't know if they dashed that one in the water.
No, I think they vandalised that one.
Yeah, they vandalised that one. The Bristol one got dashed in the water.
Well, it's been a long time coming. I didn't even know like slave traders statues exist in these day and age.
Yeah.
I knew they existed.
I didn't even know. Like literally, like you're glorifying someone that killed millions of people. You know what I mean? Like, how can you keep that up there as a government as a whole? How can you literally keep that up there? And there's been complaints of it as well. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not like they don't know. If they're just shoving it underneath the carpet.
If we just be honest about it, they just didn't care, innit?
Yeah, yeah.
It's been up for 100 and something years. We can't bother to change it now. We're just gonna leave it.
That's just lazy though.
It's lazy
And
governance.
like very offensive to like our ancestors, you know what I mean?
Yeah, fam.
Like, come on, man.
Especially as we're living in quite a modern society right now, and to have that kind of thing, it's
It's barbaric if you think about it in that sense. It's barbaric.
It's kind of
But the whole Winston Churchill thing,
me and Gio had heated words, online,
let's not discuss
me and Gio
about
had
that
heated
because
words online.
if I talk about it, I might lose my cool.
Me and Gio had heated words because while I
Listen,
don't care,
the people watching, you know. There's people watching.
Yeah,
Be
they can watch
careful.
it, they can watch
Be
it.
careful, you know.
Listen, I've already got my statement written out in my mind. fam.
Bruv, you can do that.
While I don't care if they vandalize it, I don't think they should take it down. That was my stance. And Gio was the opposite. Gio thinks
why would they take it down? It's Winston Churchill.
because he's a racist.
Because he was a
He's
mad
done a lot
racist.
for
But
the
this
country.
He's
and
done a lot for the country.
He wasn't no slave trader. He done a lot for the country.
No, but he also set a lot of slave trading going on. He also was one of the people that started the apartheid system in South Africa.
He also caused the starvation of millions
In India.
And why it makes it more egregious is a lot of people didn't know. I knew everything. I knew all of this about Churchill beforehand. This is why when I was telling Anton about it, Anton's one of our friends. I was telling Anton, yeah, he did X, Y, and Z. then it came out on social media. They're like, yeah, he's racist. I knew that already.
Exactly.
People should know who you're glorifying before you glorify them.
Exactly.
You should
and
know this already,
they don't tell you that from young.
No.
So like when we knew Winston Churchill from young, they thought like, oh, he's the guy that basically won us the war against the Nazis, and that's it.
And they
But he
take
did
us
technically,
back.
though.
He did.
100%.
Don't get me wrong, he did, but like it's like you did that, but he also like did concentrate people himself. You know what I mean?
I think
See, the problem is, why? What I was saying before, why it's egregious that Churchill is racist is because Churchill used the resources from his colonies in order to win that war. Without food from India, Britain wouldn't have the food it needed to feed its people. That also caused starvation in India. Without people working, my granddad, who actually worked the farms for the UK during World War II, without people like him working in America and in the Caribbean, growing food to then get shipped here, they wouldn't be able to continue the war. Yet in behind the scenes, he was there cussing them out, calling them about Negroes shouldn't have the vote, blah, blah, blah. Then he's talking about Indians being a bestial race. The Indians were one of the hardest, and still are, one of the hardest fighting people. The Gurkhas are feared across the planet. During World War II, the North African campaign, they wouldn't have been able to fight without the Gurkhas, the Australian. Well, obviously, they weren't calling out the Australians because they're white, but foreign forces like the Australians, the Gurkhas, the New Zealanders, all the South Africans and the East Africans all helping to fight. It was in common union against Nazism. So for then Churchill to say, I don't like the Indians because they're different, and I don't like the Negroes because they're different, despite the fact that he was carrying the empire at that point, it's hypocritical in my point. That's what was egregious to me personally, out of everything. But then I took it. This is why I said context matters. Because if you look back then, and this doesn't excuse it, but everyone was racist back then. Even people who were liberals, like, yeah, I think black people should get the vote, blah, blah, blah. Or I think black people should have the same quality of life. If you'd ask them, are black people, white people equal? They'll probably say no. So even people that were progressive back then were still racist by today's standards. And that's where I think the spectacles are on. Yes, Churchill was a racist, but he wasn't really that right-wing by that era standards, if that makes sense. Compared to him at the time, he was conservative, but he wasn't massively right-wing at that time. That's the difference that I would say now. People are not putting it into context. He got the statues for serving us during the war. Before the war, nobody wanted him in power. After the war, nobody wanted him in power. And that was kind of the symbolism of Churchill. He got us through the war, so he has statues for that war. That's why I don't really care. If they take him down, good.
Anyway.
If they leave them up,
what about
good.
Christopher Columbus?
Anyway, you.
Oh, can I swear? I can't swear, can I?
You can't.
Anyway, you guys.
Imagine being the biggest penis known to man, and that's Christopher. He wasn't the first man to discover America.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't the first European to discover America. He raped women. He killed people. He lied to them. You know, he frauded entire tribes out of their harvest for the next winter by saying, I control the heavens, because he knew celestial patterns. He did so many bad things, and he did nothing good. At least Churchill did something good. Columbus did nothing good.
Anyway, you guys. Changing the subject of negative stuff.